So obviously I've been trying to speak of this story a long time. I've been kind of prevented from talking about this story for a long time. I left a religion that I was recruited into by an employee of the HSC. She's a psychologist. Her husband's a psychologist. They were both recruiting for this religion, this Baha'i religion. I was actually in it for about 15 months. I deemed it to be a cult. I spoke about this in previous videos and why I left and all this, and you can make your own kind of minds up. Whether or not you think this is kind of ethical or unethical, or it should be outed for public opinion. And basically my ex is still in this thing, being honest with you, and she's having strings pulled for passing off a hairdressing program, which was originally a tattoo school that I had planned. It was a tattoo school that was kind of aimed at people on the dole and kind of people with addictions problems, and she basically just kind of took that idea and replaced it with hairdressing, and she's passing it off as her own. Now it doesn't bother me that she's doing that, being honest, because at least someone's getting some kind of help out of it. But it's essentially my idea, being honest with you. My idea dates her idea 2 years. I was getting a grant off the dole to start all this, but I had to stop over this sexual slander that was to be spread every time that she would drop the kids down. This sexual slander would be spread, and everyone in Waterford knows this to be true. And it's not about me being spiteful because of this kind of hairdressing program, which she's now announced that it's gone into doing tattooing as well. This is because I'm a tattooist, because I can't have anything with this woman, and she has to try and destroy it. And it's not because I'm spiteful or any kind of stuff like that, or I want any kind of revenge. I think it's important that people know the truth, basically, and that's as simple as that. I'm just trying to defend myself, because she's on public podcasts. She's on like the two Norries. I spoke about this in previous videos. And she basically lied from A to B, and fucking the two Norries there recently had a Minister McEntee on it, which was basically a strategic move, basically to kind of block all avenues that I might have any kind of success and kind of out in this kind of story. Let's be honest about it. And yeah, before I get further into this, I want to explain. I brought my ex to court, right? Now this is I'm going to talk about like what happened in the 16 months I think it was going through the course. You won't believe like what I was put through in them courts and what I was made doing these supervised visits, and how my ex was allowed to come in time and time again and just lie at will, change her story at will. And what I didn't know at the time was I had a solicitor, a male solicitor, and I was advised that I should have a female solicitor, that it would stand better for me in a family law case. So I changed. Now I'm going to get to all of this later on, right? I changed to a woman solicitor. And what I didn't know was this woman solicitor was more or less in cahoots with my ex's solicitor, and they basically fucked me over in the court, if I'm being honest with you. And I know this all sounds crazy stuff, and I will speak about this in depth the further I go into it, right? I'll talk about it. I just want to highlight some things on there just to show you, right? Because they're saying there's no proof for this, and she got caught red-handed. My solicitor got caught red-handed. They tried to move the case up to Dublin before anyone caught on was after what was after going on. And before anyone got a chance to look at my file, she destroyed my file. So that action alone kind of speaks for herself, let's be honest about it. But she had a 5-year obligation, right, to retain the file. I contacted the Law Society. They told me that she has a 5-year obligation to retain all aspects of your file. So I contacted her. She was to give me this like file. I'd say it was 90% edited. And I just want to talk about this solicitor's actions before I go back and start talking about all the kind of the issues which went on in court, because it'll explain why my solicitor virtually done fuck all for me in court, because I didn't know at the time that she was in court with the other side. This is a letter from my solicitor, because I was years trying to make a complaint. about the kind of goings on of this, kind of what happened in court, and kind of, this is a letter, right, she sent me. It states the 25th of January, right, 2021, right. Dear John, I refer to the above matter and confirm that your file was archived after my involvement with the case was finished, and after 5 years it was destroyed. I had no concerns about destroying the file, as I had already given you a copy of the same some years previous. Right, so she's basically acknowledging the 5 years that she had to retain the file. Now that's dated the 25th of January 2021, right? Hang on, just before I show, just make sure her name is on it. There you go. Look, so the documentation is there. Can you see that? You can see the date on it, the 25th. And here's another email from her. And what happened was that someone hacked into my emails, right? And they deleted all my emails, and my paperwork was stolen. It's a long, crazy story. I will talk about it. It's a crazy, crazy story. But someone hacked into my emails. So she knew I could not get me emails to disprove what she was saying, right? But I managed to get into Google Cloud a year later, and I got back a lot of the emails which were deleted, right? So this is another email from her, right? Hi John, we cannot make an emergency application. You will see I have written to Miss Blank regarding access several times, and several times RE access to no avail. So this is her acting on my behalf, and this is dated the 31st of May 2016. Alright, now so she's saying that my file was deleted, right, in the 5 years that the 5 years was up, sorry. She's saying that the 5 years was up, right? So 5 years from the 31st of May, right, 2016 is the 31st of May 2021. But yet you have an email here, the 25th of January 2021, where she's already saying that my file is that have been deleted. So that shows, like, there's documented proof that this woman, for whatever reason, destroyed my file before anyone got a chance to fucking look into it. So yeah, and that's just one email. There's loads of emails, and I'm going to read them through. Like, here's another one. Say, right, this is dated the 26th of the 5th, 2016. It says, Dear Rebecca, I refer to the above matter and enclose herewith the Circuit Court order in triplicate. Please note that a previous order was sent in, however, some amendments needed to be made. I look forward to receipt of engrossed order by return. Thank you for your kind assistance so far. Yours sincerely, the solicitor's name. Now this is dated the 26th of the 5th, 2016. So here she's acting on my case again. And then according to this letter, as I said, in 25th of January 2021, she's acknowledging the 5 years that she had to retain the file, and she's also saying that my file has already after been destroyed. So that shows that she destroyed my file before the 5 years was up. Like, why would you feel the need to destroy the file? We're living in an age, right, where you don't have storage anymore. Everything is on file, everything is on computer. Like, you can buy like a memory bank, say, like it's fucking could fit in your pocket. Do you know what I mean? You would have no need to destroy someone's emails in this day and age. It'd be different if it was letters and the letters were taking up space, would it not? Do you know what I mean? But she needed to destroy my emails because of what was after going on in the court. And it's crazy, crazy stuff. But there you have it. It's in paper, like it's documented proof of what this person done. And this person and a senior solicitor ran to a local politician who, let's just say, thrown his kind of fucking weight behind local corrupt guards in an effort to try and discredit me and try and push me out of my home and push me out of where I live before all of this came out. And I'm going to get to all of this. Like, I don't want to be jumping back and forth, so that's why I'm going to start like at the start and try and explain this. I've explained this kind of psychologist and her husband and how they lured us into this fucking religion thing, this Baha'i religion, and why I left. And I say that this is a cult, right? I base that on my own experiences. I'm not just like jumping to the wrong conclusion. I'm basing it on my own experiences. Like, they ostracize you from your friends, from your family. They don't tell you. They have their own rules. They have their own laws. They believe in manipulating people, like, into the, like, even if you don't believe in it, they believe in inviting them up one by one, that the crowd can manipulate the one person by putting pressure on them. This is the stuff that they do. And they're big on this kind of sexual shaming to discredit anyone that tries to like speak about this. This is why you never heard of anyone in this kind of thing, because you never heard of anyone that left it. You might have heard someone that might have joined. You will never ever hear of anyone that left this, because they do the same tactics as the Scientologists do, which is they discredit you with sexual slander and, do you know what I mean? It's nasty stuff. They gaslight your mental health as well, like, which is what they're doing to me, obviously. But there was a load of sexual slander spread, and it was spread throughout the council, throughout the guards, throughout fucking the Sinn Féin network, throughout tattoos, spread everywhere, before people realised then where it was after coming from. Like, they took one person could have turned around and said, how come that's being spread every time a certain individual is around? Which is basically me, if I'm being honest. How come like this is being spread every time she's around, this is spread? All 3 times that was spread, she was there the couple of days before that, dropping the kids down for a sleepover. Why would these people, like, and the people that spread it, where did they get these passwords out of? Did no one question this? Do you know what I mean? And if he's all these things, why is she even dropping them down to kids? Let's be honest about it. But no one decided to question that. They decided to take this and spread it fucking everywhere. And they destroyed my life. And when I tried to stand up for myself then, they attacked those around me, my family. My mother got an awful fucking time of it, being honest with you. An awful time. She woke up to find 2 Waterford City Council workers in her bedroom, searching her fucking bedroom, thinking my tattoo stuff was out there. They didn't see me mother in there, because my mother was so small and she had loads of pillows on the bed, and they didn't see me mother in the bed. This was 12:30 in the day. And my mother woke up and found Roisin Doherty from Waterford City Council and Leo Kennedy. And the 2 of these people are still employed by Waterford City Council. And Joe Daniels of Waterford City Council is aware of this, and he told me that this was sensitive information and they covered the whole lot up. Now, why would I be naming these? Do you know what I mean? If this wasn't true. And I'm open to take a fucking lie detector test. I'm open to give an affidavit. I'm open to face any legal repercussions if this was untrue. I will get to Waterford City Council's kind of involvement in all this. And like the solicitor, they sent me on a file. I'd say there was 95% of this file was edited out. 95%, honest to God. Like my own file that I had, I'd say like, was probably that thick, right? They sent me out a file where it was like a 1/4 of an inch thick. So what I done is I contacted the CEO, Michael Walsh, and I enclosed some of the emails that they were after removing, just to show that I had the emails first of all, and just to show the corruption which was going on. And he's after ignoring me now 6 times, the CEO of Waterford City Council. And they don't want me talking about all of this. Because as I said, there's documentation. See the way there's documentation, but they won't fucking look into this because they've already looked into this. And I don't want to be jumping back and forth like all this, because it like I'm coming across it probably fucking unhinged. And yeah, I'm just going to try and start explaining this. And this is some crazy story. As I said, this psychologist and her husband who lured us into this religion, she had previous involvement with my family where I was a witness in a case. I was just a support witness. I didn't witness that. I was just a support witness for a minor. There was allegations of sexual abuse made against the daughter of a Tussle employee against the minor. And I was the support witness for the minor, basically. I was only sitting down to kind of add support. And this was out in Arkeen Hospital. And I thought the person that was doing the interview out there, I was there, James Kennedy was there, he's a Waterford social worker. He drove myself and the minor out there. And I thought the woman that was out there, given the gravity of what we were talking about, was a Bangarda. But it turned out she was a psychologist employed by Waterford fucking Tussle. So she was investigating you have an employee of Waterford Tussle investigating an employee of Waterford Tussle. And what happened? She covered the whole lot up, and she decided that it was going to be kept internal. This is what I was told, that she decided it was going to be kept internal, that there was going to be no guards involved, because obviously I wanted the guards involved. And this is what this woman took it upon herself to do. And the girl who reported what she had seen, they deemed her to be troublesome, and she was moved. And what happened then is I found out that the dates were 7 weeks old. The allegations, were 7 weeks old, and they had let the minor in the care of the alleged abuser for 7 weeks. So they could only find in the favour of Tussle. Do you know what I mean? Because it would have highlighting the fucking gross fucking oversight here by leaving the minor in the care of the alleged abuser. Yeah, crazy stuff, I know. But that person, that psychologist who covered all that up, and Carrie, that was the same person who wrote myself and my ex into this religion a decade later. Now, I didn't recognise the person because I only met her the once out in Arkeen Hospital, where we done this interview out there, where I was just sitting in listening basically. So I didn't recognise the person. She had longish kind of hair, and when she lured us into this religion thing, she had short hair, and yeah, this is some crazy stuff. But all of this can be checked. They can pull the paperwork of this and they can check this, but they won't check the paperwork. Just even to just disprove me and hold me accountable, say for defaming people or slandering people, they won't do that. Like, why won't they do that? Surely you would like look into this. Look at how serious the things I'm saying. You would look into that. So anyway, yeah, this is the woman that kind of like lured us into this religion. And when I left that religion, after 14 months, my ex brought these people to my father's funeral trying to fuck with my head. I didn't speak to these people after leaving. I seen it. I knew this to be a cult. My ex was going back telling everything because she needed the mother figure that she always needed. And she was going back telling this woman everything, being honest with you. And then at my father's funeral, then I seen this psychologist, and she was talking to the minor that I was talking about in the previous case. She was laughing and joking with the minor there at the funeral, after the funeral, sorry. And she looked over and she seen me looking over, and she noticed that I knew who she was, and like she just left immediately. And like I got a pain in my stomach with the fright I got, because I realised then who this person was, and the shit absolutely hit the fan. And that's where all this kind of sexual innuendo about me, this is where all this came out of. It started right fucking there at that spot. And regarding like me input or joining this religion, all of this can be checked. This woman's input to me fucking family in the interview at Narkeen where I was a witness, and like this, the social, all of this, and the social worker, all of this can be checked. Do you know what I mean? But they won't check it. Why won't you check it? But I'm going to go back now, and I'm going to start talking about this from the start. This is why they're trying to get me fucking blocked off social media and all this, because they don't want people hearing how crazy this stuff is, because you will never ever hear a story like this again. So I'm going to try my best to try and explain, and I doubt I'll get it all explained in fucking 2 or 3 videos, but I'll try and I'll do my best. Bear with me. And I'm open to any kind of question or any kind of stuff like that. Like, do you know what I mean? If it's constructive criticism, I'm okay with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to start arguing with fucking trolls online, or Sinn Féin fucking trolls, or like people think I have an issue with Sinn Féin. I don't have an issue with any kind of political party. I have an issue with people hiding behind a political party, hiding behind the stigma that's attached to Sinn Féin, trying to threaten people that are trying to tell the truth. I have an issue with that, and I will call that out. When 99% of people will fucking hide from it, I will call it out. Because someone needs to call it out. Because it's not going to be our local journalists in Waterford. Because there's no integrity in journalism in Waterford. Yeah, so I think I've said enough anyway there. So as I said, there's documentation that shows that solicitor deleted my file under the 5 years, the allotted time she needed to delete that file. Why would you need to delete that file? Well, I'm going to explain to you the actions of this solicitor in court and my ex, and you'll see by the end of all of this, you will see why that case needed to be deleted and kind of like made go away, and why my case was eventually transferred up to Dublin, and then they struck it out, gave me the wrong date. I went through hell for 16 months, done supervised visits 3 times, and fuck it, they gave me the wrong date then, and they had the whole case struck out behind me back up in Dublin. And then I only found out a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, only found out that my ex never appeared in court either. That she somehow knew not to appear in court on this date as well. How would she know not to appear in court? Do you know what I mean? So this is most likely this was probably all kind of fucking organised. I was given a date then that was 2 days later than the actual date. So I was up sitting up in Dublin courts waiting for my case to be heard. And I was informed then after 8 hours that they were after having my whole case struck out. Despite I was after having like 12 sittings in Waterford, and the judge had kind of like awarded me the kids, so I had fucking done supervised access. I'm going to explain all this stuff. You wouldn't believe what I went through down in Waterford, and fucking from the case then to be just struck out because of the corruption involved, and because basically they got caught being corrupt. Do you know what I mean? And that's virtue. And that's kind of the long running theme here with fucking within Waterford, the Waterford Council, the Waterford Gardaí, it's an ongoing thing. They got caught being corrupt, they got caught by the balls, do you know what I mean? And they think they can harass me and socially shun me and fucking threaten me and attack my family in an effort to try and kind of like cover up their own corruption. Do you know what I mean? And whereas I might fucking bend, I won't break to this. So this truth is going to come out one way or the other. So I suppose I better start at the beginning. So when I left that religion, right, in 2014, so when I left that religion in 2014, it was in August 2014, they tried for about 2-3 months to try and get me to rejoin. Now I spoke with this in previous videos. They tried to offer me the grade and the psychology if I just go down and sit in the class. They tried to get me ex to fucking stop having sex with me, that I would have to fucking convert to this religion to have sex, and like I spoke about all this in previous videos, so I'm not going to get into it. And it was on that night I left the house. I walked out of the house and I said to her that she needed to contact her family and tell her family like about this crowd and what they were doing. But 3 months later then she brings this crowd to my father's fucking funeral. This was in January, and there was a lot of heated texts that went on for about a month. And to cut through the shit then, I just went down in February and I just lodged the access, guardianship and custody in the courts. So in court then, she turned up in court then and she claimed that I was drug addled, that I was gone insane since my father died and all this kind of horrible stuff. And obviously then her bringing my father up, like my father was only like a passed away. My father was very close to the kids now as well, like, so like there was no, she was really scraping the barrel by bringing my father up. And I had a male solicitor at the time, Jim Halley, I had from Tramore. And the reason I'm saying his name is because I didn't have any issue with Jim Halley. I found him to be an okay solicitor. I was just given bad advice. I was told to get a female solicitor, which is what I done. And I got a female solicitor and I changed. But before that change, it was organised that Theresa Graham would do I'm not sure if it's a section 20 or section 22. It's basically a report that's done on the parents. There was no issue with the kids whatsoever, like, do you know what I mean? This was not with the issue. The issue was with the parents. So there was a section, I'm not sure if it's 20 or 22, but this was ordered. And Dr. Theresa Graham of Tramore was agreed to. Now, I have the documents. I don't have the documents here with me. I meant to show them to the paper, but they're there available. And this woman agreed to do the report on myself and my ex. So that was arranged. That was sorted by Jim Halley. It was all arranged in court, and Dr. Theresa Graham had agreed to it. And as I said, then she was in court claiming that I was like fucking mentally unstable and I was taking drugs and kind of that I went insane after my father died, and that we broke up in 2012 and I wouldn't let go of the relationship. Like, I moved out of that house twice to try and get away from this woman. Like, I could only break, the second time we broke up was on the condition that she was allowed to tell all our hair clients that she chose to break up. Now, that kind of stuff doesn't bother me, so I was happy enough to do that. But I moved out twice, and twice I had an apartment, the second time I had a house, so I was happy to move out. Yeah, this is it. So when I turned up in court, I was hearing all our shit, all our kind of like sexual slander and all, how I was taking drugs and all this shit. So I turned up in court and I had voluntary urines. Do you know what I mean? This is the kind of stuff when she was on her two Norris podcast there last year in 2022 that she left out. I turned up in court with voluntary urines. This is something that she didn't turn up in court with. And obviously then saying that, like, that I went and saying that to my father died, like, that was like really scraping the barrel, and that did piss me off and it pressed me buttons in the courtroom. So to be honest with you, I didn't help myself. But what she done is, while we were waiting then to go to court then, right, she wouldn't let me see the kids. Now, I had the kids every single day, and I showed the last video where I had a parenting agreement where she signed over the kids and gave me the kids for 6 days a week. So I had the kids all the time. All the fucking time. Like, there's no word of a lie. And this is not to blow my own trumpet or anything like that. That's just the way it was. She was obsessed with doing her hair, getting her validation from doing her hair from 9 in the morning to 9 at night. That's the way it was. I had the kids all the time. Then all of a sudden she wouldn't let me see the kids. They were trying to get me back into this religion kind of thing, right? I wouldn't, like, fucking, there was no way in the world I was going to join this. It was a cult 100%. So she was implying basically that I had gone mentally fucking unwell. Let's just put it this way. This is what she was saying in court now. But outside, her hair clients, let's just put it that way, were spreading all this sexual innuendo, right? And she wouldn't let me see the kids unless my sister was present, right? So after about kind of 2 weeks, like, I'd be talking to the kids on the phone every day, and the kids were crying and they were missing me, asking me when could they see me. So obviously, like, this eventually took its toll, and I kind of reneged, and I said, look, okay, I'll see the kids, and as long as my sister is there, like, I agreed to what she wanted basically. So I was walking around anyway, we were in the supermarket or something like that, getting some stuff, and the looks we were getting, you wouldn't believe this was fucking insane now. And I remember coming outside, I remember saying to my sister, and she was like, what the fuck is that all about? And I was like, I don't know. And we were walking around, but it turned out our hair clients had told everyone in Tramore that my sister was a social worker and that I had to be watched with the kids. So everyone assumed that my sister was a social worker. So I was going around Tramore, and my sister was tagging along, and people assumed that, like, I had to be watched. Do you know what I mean? And this fitted in with the sexual innuendo that was out there and spread around. That's how fucking nasty this stuff. And this was only the beginning of this. So obviously when I heard this, then I stopped. I said, no, wait. And my sister obviously said no way as well. As I said, I turned up in court, I had clean urines with me. Do you know what I mean? I had a parenting agreement where she signed over. This was in 2014. Do you know what I mean? That she had signed over. This was in 2015. The start of 2015, we had a parent agreement from 2014, and that was the last 5 years. Where she signed me over the kids for 6 days a week. Now she's on this podcast in 2022, implying that I won't stop taking drugs after we got out of rehab in 2008 together, which is totally false. I told the truth about all of that, where we both went back taking drugs, and I'm sure they'll probably deem it now some kind of hate speech or something like that. They'll hate the fact that I'm speaking the truth and exposing her to be a liar. Do you know what I mean? Because her giving me the kids for 6 days a week, right, signing that, do you know what I mean? That shows basically what kind of a father I was. And then there was another message from 2017, which I also read out, where she's saying how much of a good father I was and all this kind of stuff. And it basically, that's from her own mouth. Do you know what I mean? It's not like somebody else saying it. That's her saying, basically, thinking that no one else was ever going to see it. But I need to explain the situation, why I have a dislike, right, for Tusla, and why I had to get a private a psychologist to do the kind of report on myself and herself. This is why Dr. Theresa Graham was organised to do the report, right? I had a child, I was 15, 16, with a woman, she was 23 or something. I know people are going to say fucking this and that about it. Like, I don't really care. Anyway, like, I was wild and fucking, like, no one made me do it. It is what it is. And I know I was too young. I'm going to tell you what happened. It's tough for me talking about, but I'm going to fucking say it like it is. And she had an argument with her sister one day, being honest with you. And her sister, out of spite, rang the social services on her. And the social services fucking, they basically surrounded this woman had a child off. There was 2 women and 1 man, or 2 women and 1 man, and they surrounded this woman, and they talked her into that she needed a 5-day break from my son, and they needed her to sign this yoke, and they pressurised her for an hour and a half. This went on, and she signed it basically, and they took my son into care, and basically yeah, so she was kind of manipulated by fucking Tusla. Now, I'm not going to say any more about it because the woman is dead, and I don't really want to. I'm not saying nothing bad about the dead. But yeah, so that was part of the reason I had an issue with Tusla and why I disliked her. And plus the fact this Anne Carey, she's a psychologist that's employed by Waterford Tusla. So that's why I wanted Waterford Tusla taken out of this case. Do you know what I mean? And that's why Dr. Theresa Graham was a private practitioner to do the report. And that's why it was all agreed on. So in court then she was claiming obviously I was mentally unwell, I was taking drugs and all this kind of stuff. So it was adjourned. Let's just put it that way, it was adjourned. Jim Alley was there. It was adjourned. It was set up that Theresa Graham was going to do the report, and he adjourned the case. And during that adjournment, I was informed that I would be better off with a female solicitor. And now, this is no reflection on Jim Halley out in Tranmore. It was absolutely, he didn't do anything wrong in the case whatsoever. So I changed solicitor myself because I was given bad advice. So I changed to a woman solicitor for the second or third hearing in the court. Yeah, so that was at the one hearing, like in the court, and there's about 14 different attendants, and it gets worse. You think this is crazy, this is only the tip of the iceberg, but I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to try and upload every couple of days a video, and I'm going to try and explain this. I'm going to explain the court, I'm going to explain the solicitor's actions, I'm going to explain what city councils, the Guard, Sinn Féin, like all of this. It will put things into perspective of why there's such a social fucking like attempt to drive me from my home and destroy my life and destroy my family. And it has nothing to do with this sexual fucking innuendo or slander that's spread. And if anyone thinks it is, and you're so morally put out, get up off your arse, get it, and go to the guards with it. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to leave it there for now, and I'll be back now in kind of 2 or 3 days, I'd imagine. So thanks.